Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to identify an aspect of the race that might lead us to the winner. Well, it's Kung E Fat Choi for 2025. The Year of the Snake begins with a public holiday meeting on Friday, this time at Sha Tin. And we have a number of feature races, including the Classic Mile, the first time that the top 4-year-olds will meet. That's not one of the races I'll be covering on this show, but plenty of information, interviews and such all over the Hong Kong Jockey Club website regarding that race. First race I want to take a look at is race 4, also a feature, and our winning factor here, the Thread. Now, this is the Group 3 Centenary Vase. This was a regular Derby lead-up 20 years ago before it drifted out of fashion, but Tony Cruz is using the race as a path to the Derby for Stunning Peach, one of his forerunners. Chan Cheng Glory drops back from Group 1 mile races, and Ensued comes back in grade from the Hong Kong Vase. But this is also largely a lineup of the usual suspects. More on that in a moment. And I think the best of those look to be La City Blanche, Encountered and Happy Together, who will be looking to change the story from the same race last year. Because you see here, remarkably, from the first 10 across the line in this race a year ago, 7 are still in training and they are all in this race. And here you can see on this graphic how their handicaps have changed over the ensuing 12 months. Now, even in a closed pool of horses like Hong Kong, that's pretty remarkable. So I thought it was worth looking back at certainly the latter stages of last year's running of the Centenary Vase. And let's take a look at just how unlucky Happy Together was. As we join them here at the 600 metres, Happy Together in purple and red, 3 back on the rail, with Encountered on his outside, red, yellow quartered cap, and La City Blanche, yellow, blue and white, 3 wide, and Sword Point just up ahead of them in green and yellow. And they had taken themselves along to the home turn, and this is where a nice trip turned very ugly for Alexi Bedell on Happy Together. He never sees clear running down the straight until the race is all over, and just next to him, Encountered is nearly as unlucky as he is. So a lot can happen with horses in the period of a year, but we've still managed to get 7 of those horses going around again this year. We'll get to more of that in a moment. Now, because this is a Group 3, I'm sure that eyes will be drawn to horses coming out of Group 1 races, like Ensued coming out of 4th in the Hong Kong Vase, and Chan Cheng Glory, who comes out of the Group 1 mile races. Now, with Ensued, I could show you the Hong Kong Vase. You can find that yourself on the Hong Kong Jockey Club site. I thought a much better guide to this race was if we go back to November, where he ran in another Group 3 1800 metre race at Sha Tin and was victorious. So this is race 153, La City Blanche, white, blue and yellow, gate 4. Chan Cheng Glory, pink colours, gate 7. They begin okay and they quickly find places behind the speed. Ensued is in blue, red and a white cap, gate 13, and probably began as well as any of them, but Karis Teton is then looking across inside for the first 600 metres to find a parking spot, eventually landing next to La City Blanche and ahead of Chan Cheng Glory. In a race where the pace went up and down a bit, but they straighten up and Ensued is there to pounce. La City Blanche briefly held up, but probably has his chance, and these two come clear, with Chan Cheng Glory battling on into 3rd. So the first 2 are the ones that I want to take away from that race, and La City Blanche now gets a weight turnaround against the winner there, and he also ties us into another Group 3, the January Cup, run at Happy Valley earlier this month. This is race 334, and this time we're looking at La City Blanche in gate 11, Happy Together next to him in gate 10 in the red and purple. Both begin okay, but their riders are not in a hurry, taking them back and looking to get near the rail in the last couple of placings so that they don't cover extra ground. The key moment in this race is 800 metres out, when Hugh Bowman is sick of fighting with his mount all the way in the fairly steady pace, decides to let Moments in Time go and puts pressure on the leaders. Now, that helps the back markers, and the place getters in the race, Helene Feeling, Happy Together and La City Blanche, are at the rear, and they come around the field together on the home turn, proving too strong as a group at the finish. So La City Blanche links the races that we're looking at, and both he and Happy Together draw much better for Friday's race. When we take a look at the map, as we saw in last year's edition of this race, an inside draw can be as much a curse as a blessing, but I think you'd rather have one this time around. And last year's Centenary Vase was run strongly, with the leaders weakening back onto Happy Together when he needed clear room. This year's race looks different, not a lot of speed, and we might see Sword Point in front this time, or Winning Dragon, and Happy Together and La City Blanche, now from good draws, trailing the lead group, while Ensued has another wide draw to deal with, as does Chan Cheng Glory. So the tip from me in race 4 is Happy Together. His winning factor, the thread. Now, each season in Hong Kong we run 3 Group 3 1800 metre races, and we get quite a lot of these horses turning up again and again in these races. I think there's a thread that clearly runs through the most recent ones, and that brings us down to Happy Together, with a great chance for he and Alexi Bedell to put things right after what happened last year. The other race I'm looking at on Friday is race 9, and our winning factor here, the map. This is a Class 3 1600 metres. A few of these have been in decent form, including David Eustace trained Silvery Breeze. Sky Heart made a good return first up from a break. Fallon is going well without luck, and Blessed Nation was better last start. But for me, everything here points towards one horse, Legend St Paul's, our winner up in class. Now, we've made the map the primary factor in this race, so I think we'll take a look at that first of all. Now, we appear to have almost no speed at all in this race, and of the horses who even might be the leaders, that's Sky Heart and Legend St Paul's, well, neither could really be called a regulation front runner, though they do generally race near the front in their races. I wouldn't be surprised to see New Future Folks positive from out wide, but he does have to deal with that outer gate, while a slow pace hurts Fallon's chances despite an inside draw, and the likes of Silvery Breeze and Blessed Nation have both the draw and the likely slow pace against them. So that has us coming back to the leaders, and last start, Legend St Paul's made his winning breakthrough in Class 4. This is race 313. He's in gate 12 for Zach Purton in light blue colours, and Legend St Paul's one of the first to jump, and this was also a race without a lot of speed. We see the heat map. There's an average first section as horses look to find positions, and Purton lets that play out underneath him before going up to just ease into second, but the second section is very slow. The leader picks up again on the circle, then kicks for home, but he's always in Purton's sights, and Legend St Paul's takes over the front and then has enough left to hold off the late closers. Now, the runner-up was unlucky there, but that doesn't change our view of Legend St Paul's. He's a progressive horse, a winner up in class, something we always look for. That isn't the case with one of his big dangers, Sky Heart. He stays in the grade for the run we're about to see, but it was a particularly good effort at his return from a break. This is race 345. He's in gate 6, green and yellow colours, and is one of the first out of the barriers. He's quickly amongst the leaders here, and the heat map commands plenty of attention. Now, the leaders run along quite okay the first 800 metres, so there isn't a lot of rest for the front runners, but then one of the leaders steps it up even further and into the red zone in the run around the circle into the home straight. The pressure on the lead runners ultimately allowed the winner to come from near last to beat them, but to watch Sky Heart, he really fights hard down to the line to stick on for fourth placing. So with the prospect of a softer pace up front on Friday, I'm very wary of Sky Heart as a danger. But for me in race 9, the tip is Legend St Paul's. His winning factor, the map. Now, I pointed out that a number of the horses who've been racing well in this race are going to be disadvantaged by the map. That's not the case with Sky Heart and Legend St Paul's, and I do find that the combination of two of our good factors, the map and the winner up in class, really pushes me in the direction of Legend St Paul's. Well, that's it from the Winning Factor this week. Good luck on Friday and all the best for the Year of the Snake. We'll see you next time.